What an incredible moment last night at UFC 309.
I also want to say a big thank you to President Donald Trump for being here tonight.
Yeah, as it looks like America is back, as last night signaled not just a major pay-per-view event, but I think a cultural event that will be living in the minds of the American people for a very long time, as it looks like nature is healing. Advertisers are returning to controversial websites. MAGA Avengers made an appearance last night, and Infowars was just officially brought back for the time being. Back to Alex Jones. What's really going on here? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be discussing in this particular video. But I think it's fair to say that what we're seeing, especially last night, inside of a Madison Square Garden in New York City, one of the most liberal, democratic cities on the face of this earth, was absolutely an incredible moment as, of course, Donald Trump appearing, walking out with so many amazing, incredible people behind him, really did send a larger message that there definitely is a shift, a tide, a larger kind of evolution, if you may, a symbolic kind of return of this kind of larger juju and energetic rift in the time continuum that absolutely changes things dramatically for the social, cultural, and political landscape of this country, as Donald was absolutely incredibly excited to see Joe Rogan, one of the few people that actually endorsed him right before the presidential election and was able to make a major shift in the discourse by hosting him for 3+ hours, where over tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people were actually able to see Donald in a totally unscripted, natural fashion. As the big winner of last night's UFC fight, Jon Bones Jones continued to do Donald Trump's famous dance and actually gave the championship belt to Donald Trump himself, as a lot of very notable figures were surrounding Donald Trump, as he, of course, was there with some of his top allies, his cabinet picks, his top supporters, and you can list the who's of some of the biggest names in our society right now. Individuals like Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, Chris Pavlovsky, who's over there in the background, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., Kid Rock, the current Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, was even there, as it's fair to say that he was there probably for larger political purposes, as of course the optics here and who Donald Trump decided to surround himself with and be seen during this larger cultural moment absolutely matters, as the optics, the visuals all matter here and play a major role in the larger messaging that Donald Trump wants to put forward to the American public. And so far, other than Mike Johnson, the individuals surrounding Donald Trump represented a larger kind of anti-establishment force. There was even a dedication played to Donald Trump where he decided to highlight some of these individuals with this political advertisement that was actually played at the UFC event in Madison Square Garden, an event that Donald Trump recently performed at himself.
It's come back in American history under Donald Trump's leadership.
God spared my life for a reason, to restore America to greatness. Together we can truly make America great again.
And as Johnny Bones Jones declared on national television, he is proud to be a Christian, and he is proud to be a Christian American champion of the United States of America. As we have to understand here, what we're seeing here is absolutely significant, specifically in the wake of the utter destruction of woke identity politics that, of course, this event puts a rift in, especially with the larger optics of everything that just unfolded and was seen here. As a lot of fighters throughout the night were showing props and respect to Donald Trump, Charles Oliveira decided to walk past him for some reason without even acknowledging him. But these dances, these major anti-establishment former Democrat and liberals that are all around him, has a lot of people, including even CNN, absolutely pissed at these optics, since it does highlight the larger signaling of them losing influence in the larger culture war, which they, of course, greedily had full control of for many years on end now. As it's fair to say that all the other kind of cultural institutions here took the power and influence that they had and used it for, of course, sinister purposes. And it was the UFC that kind of made themselves a little bit different. especially during the 2021 lockdown era, where they were one of the only sports franchises to actually still continue to operate. And even though they had to jump through a lot of hoops, they showed the world that, hey, these lockdowns are a little ridiculous. They're stupid. The UFC fighters aren't told what they could say and cannot say. They're able to express themselves fully, in many times detriment to a lot of the corporate partners of the UFC. I'm looking at you, Sean Strickland and Bud Light. And this larger kind of formation of physical peak male excellence met with unlimited free speech pushed to its furthest extent, with at the same time pushing away some of the most strongest restrictions that were put on free humanity, highlights how the UFC is just, or if not bigger, of a cultural influence than, of course, even Hollywood itself. And the messaging that Hollywood promotes and that this larger sports entertainment industry presents is something completely different. Now, I might be looking into this just too much, but maybe I'm not looking into it enough. As now CNN is describing how this event is like ancient Rome with Caesar and the Colosseum. And again, everyone loves their bread and circuses, especially the American public. But I think it's fair to say the seed and the wheat that makes the UFC is a lot different than the products and the vile, morally corrupting products and bread that the establishment produces itself. And you compare the larger kind of lessons that people get from Hollywood and the entertainment industry, and it is debauchery. It is DEI, diversity, racism, exclusionary, bigotry viewpoints that are subliminally put into our heads, especially specifically against white guys. And then you look at the UFC, where everyone has a fighting chance here, where anyone can make anything out of themselves, where you challenge your peak physical fitness performance to the fullest extent that you can, and you let the best man win no matter what. That bread is a lot different than, of course, the morally corrupting, degenerate, destructive bread of Hollywood.
I mean, and it really looks like ancient Rome here. This is sort of the conquering Republican Caesar who's going into the Colosseum, and everyone's cheering, and he's got his political gladiators with him. That appearance isn't just about him enjoying the applause. He's sending a message to the Senate.
For sure.
Like, not only are you entertained, but these are my people, and are you willing to fight? Because here's who I have.
And are any of us surprised by this? I feel like for anybody who has been covering Trump's campaign or his movement the past few years, these picks, sure, they're raising eyebrows, to say the least.
As it's definitely fair to say that there is a larger realignment here, and I'm all here for it. As previously, the left was for free speech. They were for peace, sending the American troops back. And now the right-wing Republicans are, as, of course, I think this caption wins the night last night from End Wokeness that said every single person in this picture used to be a Democrat. Quote, total realignment. And I would agree with him, as, of course, this realignment is incredible to see, and you are seeing a lot of very powerful, mega big forces and bucks realign behind it, as well as we are getting the news that major advertisers that previously boycotted Twitter are now returning to Twitter. Specifically, Disney, IBM, Comcast, Warner Brothers, Discovery, Lionsgate Entertainment, and many others will be resuming advertisement amongst a free speech platform that actually doesn't pander towards the globalist whims of trying to control what you can and cannot say. And now, with new members of the administration coming in, auditing and looking at where all the skeletons are being kept in Washington, D.C., it's fair to say that there is a reckoning coming, and it's absolutely incredible and amazing to see, as I think we saw an inkling of that, not just with advertisers returning, but also recently with what just happened to Infowars, as a judge just halted the sale of that larger firebrand media company under Alex Jones, as there have been some accusations of shady auction procedures that a judge blocked the sale of and actually returned Infowars back to Alex Jones, as U.S. Bankruptcy Court Judge Christopher Lopez declared that no one should feel comfortable with the results of this action, specifically speaking about the purported sale of Infowars.com to The Onion. As Ben Collins, the CEO of The Onion, actually went on social media saying that he actually did win the bid, they're going forward, and that it, specifically Infowars.com, is his. Even though a lot of reports are coming in that he wasn't actually the highest bidder, which raises some concerns about how everything was kind of carried out here. Since, of course, you know, the whole purpose of selling Infowars.com is to give restitution to some of the family members. And if you're not doing that for restitution purposes, why are you doing it? As it's fair to say that this whole thing is a larger humiliation ritual, as The Onion and other organizations associated with it plan to, of course, use the platform, the broadcast, the equipment, the previous work of Alex Jones, and use it to, of course, defame him and attack him when he's already at his one of lowest financial moments. Something that, of course, just is, in my opinion, absolutely distasteful. You don't hit a man when he's down. The man has been run through the mud. The man has been put into court. The man has been issued a $1 billion plus bill for things he said. And whether you agree with those things or you don't agree with those things, it doesn't matter. As it's fair to say here, the corporate media has said a lot more sinister, horrible things that has led to very severe consequences, specifically when it comes to them helping start wars overseas, that they never get held accountable for. But we're talking about the one person in alternative independent media that doesn't have all the strings attached to him with the conglomerates like the corporate media does, is the one that gets severely punished and destroyed and has his whole life ruined and all of his money and all of his financial assets that he has ever worked for taken away from him. And then you're going to take it away from him and make fun of him afterwards. That right there is something that is kind of low, classless, and just pretty disgusting. And it looks like a judge agrees with that, as NBC News is also talking about how Elon Musk's S-Corp now filed a notice in Infowars' bankruptcy case, as the judge now here is questioning how everything kind of unfolded here, as the Onion CEO was recently asked about being the highest bidder, saying, yeah, he was, when a lot of people contest that specific accusation.
Now to the satirical website The Onion announcing that it has won a bid to buy Alex Jones's Infowars in a bankruptcy auction. Jones was forced to pay $1.4 billion to the families of the Sandy Hook shooting victims. Ben Collins, CEO of The Onion, has teamed up with John Feinblatt, president of Everytown for Gun Safety, on this project. Welcome to you both. Thank you for coming in. Overnight, the judge in charge of this put a hold on your purchase, raising questions about the process, raising questions about transparency in the bidding process. What do you make of that? Are you confident this is still going to go through?
Yeah, look, we won the bid. We own Infowars, and we are very excited about that.
But is it true that you didn't have the highest bid?
We did have the highest bid when you take into account the family's concessions here. They made a concerted effort to make this the best and highest bid for everybody involved. So we're very excited to take that over. And look, it's Alex Jones. If he just handled this graciously and moved away, that would be the funniest part of this whole situation. Obviously, that is not something that he's going to do in the situation.
So you're confident this is going to go through?
Yeah.
Of course, there's nothing funny about this situation at all. A man is having everything he accomplished, everything he worked for, taken away from him in what I believe to be in an extremely unfair way, knowing Alex personally, knowing the situation, as of course there wasn't even a court proceeding where Alex was able to provide counter evidence and information to the jury, as of course there was a summary judgment here where the judge said, you're not complying, allegedly. Well, we're just going to say you're guilty, and therefore we're just going to determine how much you owe to these families anyway. As Infowars.com just wrote, let that sink in. Alex Jones returns to legendary Infowars Central Texas Command Center, as he posted a photo of him walking in with a sink. A very funny photo, as he is now alleging that there was a rigging of this entire auction, as now we have a battle of the court systems and words between The Onion and Infowars. Who will win here? Well, with the way that things have been going, with the way that the tide has shifted culturally, I do see a larger, bigger political landscape where there are more now opportunities for the small and independent media players against the Goliaths that ruled with impunity before. As now, the biggest controversy we have is RFK Jr. eating McDonald's. And again, hey, a lot of people are just going after him and attacking him. The reaction to this is pretty funny. I deal with this too. Because again, I'm a big anti-seed oil advocate. I'm an advocate for trying to eat as best as you can. And that's very difficult. in the United States, especially when you're traveling, especially when you're not able to have, of course, a kitchen, when you don't have your stuff with you. And sometimes when I travel to, like a beanie compound, sometimes I get crap because I'm starving. There's nothing else to eat except for the corporate slop down the street that sometimes you have to acquiesce for. Again, no one's perfect. I feel your pain, RFK Jr. I feel your pain, as now he's being seed oil shamed for having a little cheat meal with, the crew and the staff. And again, stop taking yourself so seriously. I think this is also pretty hilarious. It's also pretty funny. And I think what we're seeing here, especially with what Dana White has been able to accomplish, what Elon Musk has been able to accomplish, what RFK Jr. has been able to accomplish. Look at the Speaker of the House just trying to get his nose in there. Get out of here, Mike Johnson. You don't deserve to be there. He's probably there in order to help push forward some of these larger confirmations. But you look at this, love it or hate it, this is the new normal. This is the evolution. This is the Renaissance. This is the new American founding fathers that hopefully allow us to decide our own destiny with our own actions and not the actions of bureaucratic state government officials that will be trying to tell us what to do, how to live, and of course, take everything away from us. Times are changing. I think it's changing for the better. What do you think? Let me know down in the description below. Down in the comment section below. Click the description down below and go to savelukenow.com. That's the website. It's in the description. We need your help more than ever. We're dealing with our own legal battles and situations. And of course, instead of just asking for donations, you can still donate on wearechange.org/donate. But we decided to get limited edition hats. They're selling very fast. They're about to be sold out. Get these hats exclusively on savelukenow.com. I am personally signing them, as well as other signs that we are, of course, signing to help us get lawyers and fight this kind of legal, financial, accounting juggernaut of a problem that I have been dealing with for the past few weeks that have not been fun to deal with. But again, your help, more important than ever, savelukenow.com. And then the best thing you could do, sign up to lukeunfiltered.com, and you get to be a part of some really incredible moments and things on our show just by simply signing up to lukeunfiltered.com. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys signing up, so I deeply appreciate it. We give a lot of incredible things for you. We did 6 videos last week just for members. Incredible, awesome videos just for members exclusively on lukeunfiltered.com. If you haven't gotten in there, get in there right now. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing that, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on youtube.com/wearechange.